The ultimatum. The massive chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with the voices of 100 different species. Floating platforms arranged in concentric rings housed delegates from across the Milky Way. At the center, the 12 High Counselors sat in judgment, their elevated dais signifying their authority over the assembled representatives. Among them, High Counselor Thandros of Zephyria leaned forward, his iridescent scales catching the light as he fixed his 4 golden eyes on the newest addition to the council floor. The human delegation sat uncomfortably in their assigned platform, still unaccustomed to the artificial gravity adjustments and a cacophony of translator devices that struggled to keep pace with the multitude of languages being spoken simultaneously. "I call for a vote on the matter of Earth's resource contributions," Thandros announced, his voice cutting through the chamber like a blade. "The humans have enjoyed the benefits of council protection for 3 standard cycles, while contributing virtually nothing to our collective defense." Ambassador Sarah Chen of Earth rose to her feet, her expression carefully neutral despite the provocation. "High Counselor, as we have explained repeatedly, Earth requires time to adapt our infrastructure to meet Council standards. We have already increased our titanium exports by 40% and insufficient." Thandros planned a clawed hand on his console. "Your world is rich in rare minerals and biological diversity. The Council requires access to your deuterium reserves and the unique biological compounds in your oceans. Your reluctance suggests you value your comfort over galactic security." The Grand Arbiter, a tall, willowy being with translucent skin, raised a hand for silence. "This body will not entertain ultimatums, Counselor Thandros. Earth was granted a standard integration period of 5 cycles, as is customary for all new members." "Customs can change," Thandros replied coldly. "Perhaps a demonstration of the Council's authority would accelerate human cooperation." As the session adjourned, Ambassador Chen hurried to a secure communication chamber. The quantum entanglement communicator connected directly to Earth's United Defense Command. Admiral Elena Rice's stern face appeared on the holographic display. "It's worse than we anticipated," Chen reported. "Thandros is pushing for immediate access to all our resources. I believe he's preparing to make an example of us." Admiral Rice nodded, her silver-streaked black hair pulled back in a severe bun. "Our intelligence suggests the Zephyrians have been moving warships toward the Proxima Centauri corridor. They're positioning for a show of force, possibly against our colony on New Eden. Can we hold them off if they attack? The 4th Fleet is already in position. But Chen, you need to know something. The Zephyrians don't just want our resources, they need them. Our xenobiologists discovered their species is suffering from a genetic degradation. Something in Earth's oceans might be the key to their survival." Chen's eyes widened. "Why wouldn't they just ask for help? We would have." "Pride," Rise interrupted. "The Zephyrians have dominated their sector for millennia. Asking a newcomer species for help would be seen as weakness." 3 days later, Thandros addressed the Council again, this time with a formal proposal. Earth will immediately open its territories to Zephyrian extraction teams or face sanctions. This is not negotiable. The Council chamber erupted in murmurs. Many delegates looked uncomfortable, but few spoke against Thandros. The Zephyrian military was too powerful, their economic influence too vast to challenge openly. Ambassador Chen rose again. "Earth respectfully declines. We propose instead a collaborative research initiative to identify which resources are needed and establish sustainable extraction methods that—" "Your proposal is rejected," Thandros cut her off. "The Council will vote now." To Chen's dismay, the vote went against Earth, though by a narrow margin. Many abstained, unwilling to take sides in what was clearly becoming a dangerous confrontation. That evening, in the Earth Embassy on the Council homeworld of Nexus, Chen met with representatives from a handful of sympathetic species. "The Zephyrians are overreaching," said Calyx, the amphibious delegate from Aquatica. "But few will stand against them openly. We can provide covert intelligence," offered Nyx, the shadowy representative of the Umbrary Confederation. Our operatives report that Thandros has already dispatched his fleet. They mean to occupy New Eden as a first step. Chen's communicator chimed with an emergency signal. The holographic display showed Admiral Rice, her face grim. "They'd started," Rice said without preamble. "Zephyrian warships have bypassed our outer defenses and are approaching New Eden." They transmitted a simple message: "Surrender the colony, or we will take it by force." "Options?" Chen asked, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "We evacuated most civilians already, but we can't abandon the colony without a fight. If we do, Thandros will keep pushing until he controls all our worlds." "Defend it," Chen ordered, "but keep communications open. I'll work the diplomatic channels here." The battle for New Eden began at dawn. Zephyrian cruisers, sleek and predatory, descended through the atmosphere, their energy weapons carving glowing lines across the sky. The human defenders, though outnumbered, had prepared well. Automated defense platforms, hidden in the colony's agricultural zones, activated, firing precisely at the invaders' vulnerable engine sections. Admiral Rice commanded from the UDS Invictus, coordinating the defensive action from orbit. "Status report," she demanded as the bridge rocked from a near miss. "Their main force is targeting the deuterium processing facility," her tactical officer replied. "Secondary groups are moving toward the biological research stations." "Deploy the Chimera drones," Rise ordered, "and get me a direct channel to their command ship." The Chimera drones, Earth's newest weapons system, kept secret until now, launched from concealed silos. Small, fast, and virtually invisible to standard sensors, they attached themselves to Zephyrian vessels, disrupting their communication systems and navigation controls. On the Zephyrian flagship, Commander Vrax watched in growing confusion as his ships began to move erratically, some firing at empty space, others veering off course entirely. "What is happening?" he demanded. "Unknown, Commander," his second replied. "Some kind of electronic warfare we've never encountered before." A communication request flashed on his console. After a moment's hesitation, Vrax accepted it. Admiral Rice's face appeared on his screen. "This is Admiral Alina Rice of Earth Defense Command. Your attack on a peaceful colony violates 17 different Council protocols. Withdraw immediately, or we will be forced to respond with full military action." Vrax bared his serrated teeth. "We act with Council authority, human. Surrender the colony now." "Check your ships, Commander," Rise replied calmly. "The devices attached to your hulls contain enough explosives to breach your reactor containment fields. One signal from me, and your fleet becomes a memory." It was a bluff. The Chimera drones carried no explosives, but Vrax couldn't know that. He ordered a scan, and his officers confirmed objects attached to every ship in his fleet. "You would not dare," Vrax hissed. The Council wooled. "The Council isn't here," Rise interrupted. "You attacked our people. Whatever happens next is on you." On Nexus, Ambassador Chen stood before an emergency session of the Council, her voice steady as she presented evidence of the unprovoked Zephyrian attack. "High Counselor Thandros claimed to act with Council authority," she said. "Did this body authorize an attack on a civilian colony?" The Grand Orator's expression was grave. "It did not." Thandros rose to his feet, his scales darkening with rage. "The humans are withholding critical resources. Their selfishness threatens. Your deception threatens the very foundation of this council." The Arbiter cut him off. "You will cease all military action immediately." "Or what?" Thandros sneered. "My fleet is already engaged. By tomorrow, New Eden will be under Zephyrian control, and the humans will understand their place in the galactic order." Chen's communicator vibrated. A message from Admiral Rice. "Zephyrian fleet in retreat. Minimal casualties on both sides." Chen allowed herself a small smile before addressing the Council again. "Actually, the Zephyrian fleet is withdrawing as we speak. It seems they've reconsidered their position." Thandros' face contorted with rage. "Impossible. Our forces outnumber. Numbers aren't everything, Chen replied. Perhaps your commanders realize that technology and tactics matter more than brute force. The council session adjourned in disarray, with many delegates approaching Chen privately to express support for Earth's position. But as she returned to the embassy, Chen knew this was only the beginning. Thandros would not accept defeat so easily. That night, Thandros summoned his most trusted military advisors to his private chambers on Nexus. The humans humiliated our forces today, he said, his voice dangerously quiet. This cannot stand. General Klax, his chief strategist, bowed his head. They employed technology we have not encountered before. We need time to analyze and counter it. We don't have time. Thandros snapped. My researchers estimate our genetic degradation will reach critical levels within 2 planetary cycles. Without the compounds found in Earth's oceans, our species faces extinction. Then perhaps we should consider their offer of scientific collaboration, another advisor suggested hesitantly. Thandros struck him, sending the advisor sprawling across the polished floor. Never. The Zephyrian Empire does not beg for help from lesser species. We take what we need. He activated a holographic display showing the Earth solar system. Prepare the Void Lance. We will strike directly at Earth itself. When their homeworld burns, they will surrender everything we demand. The Reckoning. Admiral Elena Reyes stood in the war room of Earth's Lunar Command Center, studying the holographic display that showed the positions of all known ships within 50 light-years of the solar system. Red markers indicating Zephyrian vessels were moving in formation toward Earth from multiple vectors. They're not being subtle this time, she observed to her assembled commanders. Intelligence estimates their main force will reach our outer defense perimeter in 18 hours. General Hiroshi Tanaka, commander of Earth's ground forces, frowned at the display. Why telegraph their movements so obviously? Thandros must know we're tracking them. He wants us to see them coming, Reyes replied. Classic intimidation tactic. Their fleet outnumbers ours 3-1. Dr. Samira Patel, head of Earth's Advanced Weapons Division, stepped forward. Admiral, the Chimera drones won't work again. They'll have developed countermeasures by now. I don't expect them to, Reyes agreed. That's why we're implementing Operation Slingshot. She gestured, and the holographic display zoomed in on Earth's asteroid belt. Hundreds of small green dots appeared, scattered throughout the floating rocks. We've placed gravity manipulators on key asteroids. When activated, they'll create a corridor of gravitational distortion that will funnel the Zephyrian fleet exactly where we want them. On Nexus, Ambassador Chen stormed into an emergency council session, demanding action. The Zephyrian fleet is moving against Earth in direct violation of the Council's ceasefire order, she announced. Will this body stand by while a founding member attacks a sovereign world? The Grand Arbiter looked troubled. High Counselor Thandros has been summoned to explain his actions, but his representatives claim he is indisposed. Indisposed? Chen repeated incredulously. He's coordinating an invasion fleet. Murmurs ran through the chamber as delegates consulted with their governments. Finally, the Arbiter spoke again. The Council hereby authorizes defensive actions by Earth forces. We will dispatch observers to document any violations of galactic law. Chen barely contained her frustration. With respect, Arbiter, observers won't stop plasma torpedoes. We need concrete support. From the shadows of the chamber, Nix of the Umbrary stepped forward. The Umbrary Confederation will stand with Earth. Our stealth cruisers are already moving to intercept Zephyrian supply lines. One by one, other delegates rose to offer support. Not many, but enough to send a message that Earth would not stand alone. As the Zephyrian fleet approached the asteroid belt, Commander Vrax felt uneasy. The humans had offered minimal resistance so far, falling back at every engagement. It's too easy, he muttered to his second. The humans are planning something. Our sensors detect no significant forces in this sector, his officer replied. Their main fleet appears to be concentrated around their moon. Vrex studied the tactical display. Why would they? His question was cut short as alarms blared across the bridge. The space around his ships seemed to twist, invisible forces pulling his fleet off course. Gravitational anomalies detected throughout the asteroid belt. His science officer shouted, "Our navigation systems are failing." Vrax watched in horror as his carefully arranged formation collapsed into chaos. Ships collided with asteroids and each other as they struggled against the invisible tide pulling them toward a specific point in space. And waiting at that point was the Earth fleet, weapons hot and ready. The battle was brutal but decisive. Caught in the gravitational trap and unable to maneuver effectively, the Zephyrian vanguard was decimated. Vrax ordered a retreat, but only half his ships managed to break free of the gravitational corridor. On Earth, populations celebrated the victory, but Admiral Reyes knew the war was far from over. "Thandros still has ships in reserve," she told her staff, "and now he's desperate." Intelligence reports soon confirmed her fears. The Void Lance, a Zephyrian superweapon capable of destabilizing a planet's magnetic field, was being moved into position near Jupiter. Ambassador Chen received the news during a private meeting with the Grand Arbiter. "The use of such a weapon against an inhabited world violates every principle the Council stands for," she argued. "You must stop this." The Arbiter's luminous eyes dimmed with regret. "The Council has voted to censure Thandros and strip him of his position, but we have no direct control over Zephyrian military assets. I fear this conflict has moved beyond our ability to contain it." Chen straightened her shoulders. "Then Earth will defend itself, whatever it takes." Admiral Reyes and her staff developed a desperate plan. While the bulk of Earth's remaining forces engaged the Zephyrian fleet, a small team would infiltrate the Void Lance and disable it from within. Colonel Maya Santos volunteered to lead the mission. With a team of 12 Special Forces operatives and Dr. Puddle to handle the technical aspects, they boarded a captured Zephyrian shuttle and set course for the superweapon. Using identification codes provided by Umbrary Intelligence, they successfully docked with the Void Lance. Disguised in Zephyrian environmental suits modified to hide their human features, the team infiltrated the massive station. "The primary control center will be heavily guarded," Santos whispered as they moved through maintenance corridors. "We'll need a distraction." Dr. Patel nodded, accessing a terminal. "I can overload the secondary power couplings. It should draw their security teams away from the main controls." The plan worked, almost. As alarms blared and Zephyrian crews rushed to contain the spreading power failures, Santos and Paddle reached the control center with minimal resistance. But waiting for them was Thandros himself, along with his personal guard. "I knew someone would try this," the High Counselor snarled, his scales gleaming under the emergency lights. "You humans are so predictable." Santos signaled her team to spread out, weapons ready. "It's over, Thandros. The Council has removed you from power. Stand down, and we can end this without further bloodshed." Thandros laughed, a harsh sound like grinding metal. "You think this is about politics, about resources. Your kind is so blind." He gestured, and a holographic display activated, showing microscopic organisms. "These are the parasites that are killing my people. They infect our genetic structure, causing cascading failures in our reproductive systems. Within a generation, there will be no more Zephyrians." Dr. Paddle studied the display, her scientific curiosity momentarily overriding the danger. "This is a prion-like pathogen. It's attacking the telomeres in your DNA." "Precisely," Thandros hissed. "And the only known cure requires compounds found exclusively in Earth's oceans. Compounds your government refuses to share." "That's not true," Patel objected. "We offered scientific collaboration." "We do not collaborate," Thandros roared. "The Zephyrian Empire has ruled this sector for 10,000 years. We take what we need." He lunged toward the weapon controls, but Santos was faster. Her plasma pistol fired, catching Thandros in the shoulder. He stumbled but kept moving, his clawed hand slamming down on the activation panel. Lights flashed as the Void Lance began its power-up sequence. Dr. Patel rushed to the controls, fingers flying across alien interfaces. "I can't shut it down," she called to Santos. "The targeting system is locked on Earth." Santos made a split-second decision. "Can you change the target?" Patel nodded, understanding immediately. With a few rapid adjustments, she redirected the weapon. "New target locked," she confirmed. Santos opened a communication channel to Admiral Reyes. "Void Lance is firing, Admiral. We've redirected it to Zephyria Prime's uninhabited moon. Recommend immediate evacuation of our forces from this sector." The Void Lance fired, its devastating energy beam tearing through space toward the Zephyrian home system. Not toward the planet itself, but toward its largest moon, a sacred site in Zephyrian culture and the location of their most important military installations. The resulting explosion was visible across half the galaxy, a new temporary star that signaled the end of Zephyrian military dominance. In the aftermath, Thandros was taken into custody by Council peacekeepers. The new Zephyrian government, led by moderates who had opposed Thandros' aggression, signed a peace treaty with Earth. Most significantly, Dr. Patel led a joint Earth-Zephyrian research team that identified a treatment for the genetic degradation afflicting the Zephyrian people. Earth provided the necessary oceanic compounds freely, establishing a foundation of goodwill between the former enemies. 6 months later, Ambassador Chen stood before the Galactic Council once more. Earth had been granted a permanent seat among the High Counselors, a recognition of humanity's new standing in the galactic community. "We come to this council not as conquerors or victims, but as partners," Chen told the assembled delegates. "The conflict with Zephyria taught us all a valuable lesson about the cost of pride and the value of cooperation." Admiral Reyes, seated in the Earth delegation, watched with quiet satisfaction. Humanity had been tested and had proven itself not just capable of defending its interests, but of showing mercy and wisdom in victory. As the council session concluded, the Grand Arbiter approached Shen privately. "You humans continue to surprise us," the ancient being said. "When Thandros threatened your world, many believed you would either surrender or be destroyed. No one expected you to defeat him and then help save his people." Chen smiled. "That's the thing about humans. We're full of surprises." On Earth, celebrations continued as news of the Council's recognition spread. In classrooms and theaters, the story of humanity's stand against Zephyria became a popular tale, a reminder that sometimes standing firm against a bully is necessary, but extending a hand afterward is what truly demonstrates strength. And across the galaxy, other species watched with new respect, and in some cases concern. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and nothing would be quite the same again.